Welcome to Compassion Speaks, where we give a voice to the nonprofits in the community. I'm your host, Kevin Weaver, and today on our show we have Farmer Dan. Farmer Dan, welcome. And incidentally, Dan, what is your last name?
Vertz, V-E-R-T-Z.
Dan Vertz.
Yeah.
Well, we brought Dan on today to talk about, well, frankly, him. Just before the show began, we were talking about all the various things that he does in the community as far as volunteerism is concerned. And there are many, and I'm going to have him touch on those in a moment. But first and foremost, you're a volunteer for Meals on Wheels.
Meals on Wheels, yes.
Yeah. Well, so talk to us about that. First off, what got you involved in Meals on Wheels?
Well, an old friend, John Graham, was part of our community garden down there across from the Sheriff's Department. And I was already volunteering for the VA, Disabled American Veterans, and I wanted more to do, so I started 2 years ago. I started this Meals on Wheels.
Excellent. Yeah, you mentioned John Graham. I know who John is. As a matter of fact, when I got involved with Meals on Wheels many years ago, John was the chairman of the board of directors, and John, he's a good
That's
guy.
correct, yeah.
He has a big heart. So, what's it like as a Meals on Wheels? Are you delivery people?
I'm glad you brought that up, because Meals on Wheels is more than just delivering meals.
Uh-huh.
About 2 months ago, I walked into a lady laying on the floor, and I asked her why she was down there, and she'd been there since 6 o'clock the night before.
Wow.
So I helped her up, and then I went down to one of her neighbors and says, would you check on her every day, because once she gets down, she can't get back up. That's one example. And another example, about 2 weeks ago, this guy that actually I stopped delivering to him, but he was next door to one I was delivering.
Sure.
And when I walked back, I saw him in there, and I just started talking to him. Mm-hmm. And he just got 2 great big batteries in the mail, and he didn't know how to get them into his cart. So I went in there and took his cart apart, put the new batteries in for him. We help people, and we talk to people. A lot of shut-ins don't get that. So Meals on Wheels is much more than meals.
Yeah, it is a tremendous community service when you speak to it like that. I mean, obviously, and we have several of the meals here today with us just to kind of show folks a little bit of what it looks like, and maybe before we leave, we'll open one up and dig into it. But yeah, it's not just, as you say, delivering the meals, but it's kind of being an extra set of eyes and hands for people who are in need.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And half of them are hospice people.
So
they're on their final days. And
exactly.
Yeah.
And when and I bring this up an awful lot on this show, and really in my personal life as a preacher, one of the things that I really preach first and foremost is respect for our elders in our community. And what a better way than being involved in this. And so you're a Meals on Wheels delivery person, and mechanic, and
a friend,
first responder, and a friend. Yeah, you forge a lot of friendships that are very lasting, and that means so much in the community. Well, so Farmer Dan, what else do you do? Several other things you're involved with.
I got a chicken farm.
You have a chicken farm.
And I use all the chicken droppings and the straw from my garden.
Okay.
And I've got 22 garden tomato plants this year.
Now, is that your personal, or is that with the community garden?
No, I supply all the tomatoes plants for the community garden.
Oh, you do?
I supplied over 100 plants this year.
Wow.
And they're all in that high tunnel over there. They're already almost 2 feet tall.
Now, anybody can participate in the community garden? No.
We like people to come out there. If you don't want to rent a plot for $35, you can come out there and just help pull weeds and help harvest it when we want to sell it. And for every hour that you give us, we give you $10 worth of produce.
Oh, wow. I need to do that. I bet it's a lot of fun with you guys.
Yeah, a lot of people just want to volunteer. They don't really want to do the garden thing. And we have a lot of children there. We even have a special children's garden now. And they love that. The children
That's
love
a
that.
good idea.
Yeah.
And then do you have some type of a farmer's market where people can come in and buy the produce?
Well, that's what we'll do. We'll set up tables there in the fall. And, and I have to mention, too, that people with food stamps can come in there and buy our produce now. We get approved and get a certificate that we can sell for food stamps.
You know, that is really good to know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because we're talking about, I mean, quite obviously, so here I am sharing with you the obvious, but people have to eat, and it's nice to know that there's an additional resource and someplace where we can go and be involved with fresh. And a lot of people are really concerned in getting involved in what do you call that when you do it all natural? That
Organic.
Organic.
Exactly. All of my tomatoes are heirloom. First of all, you can't get these in the store.
Don't know what heirloom.
They're better than anything you can buy in the store. Much sweeter, much better.
So what's heirloom?
Heirloom means you take a tomato plant that's Grandpa's favorite tomato.
Uh-huh.
You take the seeds and you grow it, and you propagate that particular plant.
Okay.
It's not like a hybrid plant where they actually mess with the genes and everything and cross-pollinate these things to get the perfect sellable plant. A sellable tomato doesn't have a lot of flavor, doesn't have a lot of sweet in it, and the skin's real thick because it lasts long on the shelf.
Right.
Well, my heirloom tomatoes, especially my giant yellow German golds, they may only last 2 days. You got to eat them right away, but you will never taste a tomato that good.
Yeah, it's so true. I'm glad you brought that out. I mean, sellable tomatoes, you're right. You get those, and they're kind of nice to cut because they are so hard, but they really don't offer a lot of, palatable delight, if you will.
Yeah.
And I remember growing up and being involved, going back and forth to my aunt and uncle's farm. Nothing better than grabbing a nice ripe tomato off the vine, like to slice it up, slather it with mayonnaise, salt, and pepper.
And my goal every year is to get a better tomato.
Wow.
So like when my wife and I took a northwestern trip in Anaconda, Montana, this guy says, my great-grandfather has these tomato seeds. You can't buy them online. You can't get them anywhere. And I says, okay, I'll trade you. So I traded my German golds, and he gave me his, and I'm trying them this year. I'm always looking for the perfect tomato.
The perfect tomato.
Yeah, and I'll get it some. Because I grew up in Wisconsin where a tomato was blood red and sweeter than honey, You know
what? Talk about meaning and purpose in life.
Yeah.
I'm seeking the perfect. That's awesome. Well, does Meals on Wheels get any of those Farmer Dan tomatoes?
I bring them cherry tomatoes. She doesn't really want the big tomatoes because she buys them in bulk.
Of course.
But she loves the cherry tomatoes, so I think a cherry tomato is a waste of space. But you can grow all these big things.
Yeah,
why would you
of
grow?
course.
But anyway, I grow them for her.
Well, the cherry tomatoes are good in the salad bar.
Yeah.
And incidentally, over at the Shola Senior Center, not only are these meals delivered to people's homes, but there is a cafe over there, and there's a congregate meal that you can go in at lunchtime and purchase a nice meal, and they have a salad bar there, and on that salad bar, probably you'll find Farmer Dan's cherry
Another
tomatoes.
thing I do, just on my route, and right now I have like 14 people on my route, but it's going to double now that NACOG is starting funding us now.
Yeah.
I bring tomatoes to all my.
You do?
I got hundreds of tomatoes, for God's sake. So
True.
I bring tomatoes to everybody, and the ones that want to, I'll actually bring them a pot with a tomato plant in it.
Well, are you a resource to the community? In other words, can people call Farmer Dan and ask questions and say,
absolutely.
Can I get some tomatoes from you?
Absolutely. Another thing, too, is I teach classes. I'm going to teach a group of kids about beneficial insects next month.
Oh.
Yeah.
Beneficial
right there
insects.
at the community garden. So if you get involved in the community garden, you get involved in canning and teaching kids and marketing.
So we've got a couple things going on the show today. Of course, we're highlighting the Meals on Wheels program and Farmer Dan as Meals on Wheels delivery all-around friend and helper, and also the community garden. And I understand that the community garden has a show that has begun or is beginning on Sholo TV, and so people can tune into that And,
I wasn't aware of that. I'm sure they do.
okay, so we'll get involved. At the end of the show, is it okay to give your contact information?
Absolutely.
So we'll give you Farmer Dan's contact information.
I'm a father of a lot of kids.
Yeah, you said you have like 100 grandchildren, right?
Yeah, 22. Yeah.
Well, so, again, I want to tell folks too, get involved if you can in any way, shape, or form with, of course, today I'm saying Meals on Wheels, but with any community volunteer program.
Meals on Wheels needs volunteers.
Yeah.
Right now they need volunteers.
And you can volunteer as little or as much as you want. I know some people come and they drive a route one day a week, one day a month. I mean, you don't have to commit every day, do you?
No, one day. I was doing 1 day a week. Now at NACOGs, I'm going to do 2 days a week. But it's nothing. What 1 hour, hour and a half a day for 2 days a week? It's nothing.
Well, let me say this, and I'm sure, folks, that you can do this, and maybe Dan would take you. If you want to check it out, come and ride along with him one day.
You're welcome to ride along with me, anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, one at a time.
Of course. Well, and maybe
small car.
And maybe he'll give you a sack of tomatoes.
Yeah. Well, if it's in the fall, right now they're just blossoms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, man, Dan, thank you for coming. I can think of much more direction that we need to go on this, but the clock says that we're running out of time. And I mean, this just always whisks by, and I want to show, if we can get a zoom in here. Here's a little bit of a meal. From this point, it doesn't look overly appetizing. It's got plastic over the top of it. But today is turkey a la king. And if you want, Dan, and you got to do this, at least fake it. Let's open up one and let's try it. So here we are. And I've got enough for everybody that works here at Sholo TV. And
Sue is a great cook.
So we're going to try it. So thanks, Farmer Dan, for being here. And for those who are watching, stay tuned. We're going to be taking Meals on Wheels to the road. Welcome to Compassion Speaks, where we give a voice to the nonprofits in the community. I'm your host, Kevin Weaver, and today we're doing something really exciting and fun. We're in the home of Gavin Martinez and his daughters. And today we're going to be talking about Meals on Wheels. Now, we've had Meals on Wheels folks on in the past, and we know how important and how essential Meals on Wheels is to the community, and for folks that are participants of that program. And we wanted to come into the home of one of the participants and just have a conversation about the program and how important it is. So today, as I said, we're with Mr. Gavin Martinez and his daughters Marlene and Eileen. Welcome you guys today to the program, and thank you really for letting us come into your home. Of course, those who are watching today, you can't really see, but I mean, there's people all over the place in here, and we've absolutely invaded their home, and we're very grateful that you would let us do that. So thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And let me begin by saying Happy 4th of July.
Oh, come on. Come on in.
Meals on Wheels?
That's just in time.
Now we could have not timed this better.
My goodness gracious, perfect timing. We call them our angels on wheels.
Yes,
Thank
we do.
you.
Have a good one, Gavin.
Hey, don't run off.
Don't run off yet.
Say hi to the camera. We're actually taping today for Meals on Wheels. You're
He's
Daniel?
one of the many volunteers.
Daniel the volunteer.
Daniel, the volunteer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Daniel, thank you for your service.
Thanks, Daniel.
Thank you, Daniel.
Appreciate it. Perfect timing.
Go figure.
And he really, this is very important to us for him to get this meal every day.
Well, yeah, he really
as you
looks
can
forward
tell.
to it, just so you can see what's there and what's. Ashley, will you bring Grandpa some silverware? And he enjoys it. He really does. He may just eat a little bit at a time, but it's a great portion. It's a nutritional meal. It's got a vegetable. It's got a protein. He's got a fruit. It's either a chocolate milk or a whole milk.
Boy, and
Got
look,
a salad.
can you guys really focus in on that? When he opened that up, the steam is coming out of it.
Oh, we always get a hot meal.
That meal is like it just came out of the kitchen. Come on in. You're not going to
It's
disrupt
okay, Ashley,
anything.
come on in.
Smile. Wave at the camera.
And a straw.
And a straw. Bring Grandpa a straw. And he enjoys it. He really enjoys it. There's, like I said, there's some days where he'll just eat a little bit of it, and some days where he eats more of it. Now he's not crazy about those mixed greens, but you know he'll poke at them.
Well, the whole point of it is
It's a nutritional thing.
exactly. It's well balanced, and it's served hot, and it's for one person.
Yes.
Even though Mr. Martinez lives in a home with his daughter, if we're realistic about this, you can't truly every day for one person make this kind of a meal.
You can't.
And so Gavin is the perfect Meals on Wheels recipient. He can't get up and go do this for himself, and it's unrealistic to expect that a family member would cook a well-balanced meal. Now, if you were having family over
Yeah.
and there's going to be, your 26 grandchildren coming,
Yes.
yeah, you pull out the pots and you cook and you make it for everybody, and it's well-balanced. But for one person,
Yeah, it's a great program. Just well, for one thing, my sister has her own health problems, and today she's having a good day. Some days she can't get off the couch, so she doesn't have to worry. Well, at least he's going to have a good lunch.
exactly.
He's going to have a hot lunch. It's going to be a good lunch, and I don't have to worry about getting up and trying to fix him something and at this point in his life, he's not a real big eater.
Exactly.
So a lot of times, this little meal will get him through most of the day. He'll eat, like today, he'll eat the bread. Maybe he'll eat part of the pasta. Maybe he won't. And then later on in the day, he'll eat a little bit more of it. So, he eats just a little bit throughout the day. So it's a perfect size. It's nice and warm. A lot of times it comes in this little perfect little container. And we'll take a portion out and just feed it to him now, and then a little portion later. And if we want to heat it up in this
Right.
little container, perfect. Perfect.
And Kevin, what's even more special during the holidays, if they're going to be closed, like Memorial
Oh.
Day, 4th of July,
Yep.
they'll bring me a frozen meal. I'll keep it into the freezer for that particular day, and then when I know they're not going to come that day, I just pop it in the microwave, and
So-
it works perfect.
So they're kind of holiday sensitive. Probably
They are.
around Thanksgiving, you get
Absolutely.
the turkey and the stuffing.
Absolutely.
And well, Gavin, can I ask you, is the food good?
Dad, do you like the food?
Do you like the food they bring you every day?
Oh yeah. How about you girls? Have you ever tasted it?
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. A lot of times I'm like, oh my gosh, I should have ordered me one of these. That's pretty good. He really enjoys it.
It's really true. I cannot brag on it enough.
It's great.
It is quality stuff, and I want people to see that and to know that taking care of the elders in our community and making a meal for those who cannot make it for themselves, to me, it is about as important as it gets. And that's why I stay, at least on the fringes, very involved in what I call or refer to as probably the single most important program in our community. And I have to be very honest with you, this program really doesn't get a lot of attention. And I think that we as community members need to step up our game and get involved. So let me remind you, for those who are watching, if you qualify for Meals on Wheels, or if you think maybe you do, give us a call. Get in touch with the program. Their phone number will be on at the end of the program. And a representative will come out and talk to you, interview you, and see if you qualify. If you don't have the resources, we can find the resources. There are sponsorships available. I'm constantly encouraging and challenging churches to get involved in different community programs. Invest in this program because it's incredibly needed.
I was so excited when my sister was able to get him on this program because, well, like I said, look at it. Who wouldn't want to have a lunch like that brought to you every day? It's like, gosh.
And so for those of you who are watching on TV today, The Meals on Wheels delivery person today could not have come at a more opportune time. He really didn't know when to be here. He knew we were taping, but he showed up just at the perfect time. And I wanted you guys to see this, how important it is. I mean, Gavin he just dove into it because, I mean, for one, he's anticipating that it's coming. And I've driven the route a few times. And literally, people will be sitting there with a fork in their hand and their placemat in place, waiting. And we come in and we put it in front of them. You open it up, it's hot, and they eat. So I would love to challenge you guys that are out there to get involved in this program. If you again, if you think that you could be a recipient of this, let us know. We'll send out a representative to come and interview you. If you would like just to ride along with somebody for a day and see what it's like, I assure you and absolutely guarantee you that when you get home at the end of the day or at the end of the route, you will be absolutely fulfilled by what takes place. As I was saying, I don't think there is a more worthwhile or necessary program in our community. And here's the thing, the meals come 5 days a week. And as they were saying, you get extra meals during the holidays because obviously the drivers and the volunteers and staff take holidays off, but we make sure that you get a frozen meal for the holiday. And if you need the meal 7 days a week, the driver on a Friday would drop off an additional 2 frozen meals, so you would have the meal for the week. These meals are made absolutely fresh every day, except for the frozen meals, of course. But it's just that day they take them and they put them in the freezer.
They're so good too.
So we've only got a couple of minutes left, and I do really want to reiterate to you how absolutely grateful I am for you letting us come in today. Invade your home.
We love the program.
Invade your privacy. And I cannot let an opportunity go by and not thank a veteran. Gavin, I thank you from the bottom of my heart for your service. This being the 4th of July and all that we remember as far as our independence is concerned. Mr. Martinez, we salute you and we thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. What about you girls? Real quick, tell us about this guy.
Oh my gosh, shoot, he's a great dad. We had a great life. He was, what can you say? We are a strong family. He raised us to be strong, to be honest, to be good. Pretty good old boy. Hi, Dad.
You know,
he worked hard. He worked many hours. He worked 2 jobs sometimes. We didn't go without. He bought me many cars.
And lots of our neighbors and friends he took care of and fed and provided.
Nieces and nephews, we've always had someone living with us, taking care of someone. His sister, always someone, when we lived in Phoenix, we had relatives that lived with us going to school. We always had someone, if we had a cousin that was having trouble, they would move in. And he just took care of the world, and now it's our turn. We take care of him.
Exactly.
And really that's the point, and you made it beautifully for me. These folks, especially World War II generation people, one man said that they were the greatest generation, and I believe it.
Yeah.
They gave so much of themselves and selflessly for us. And we could say that about a lot of other people, but the point is that they gave so that we can have the freedom that we have in this country. And there comes a time when they are deserving of our help and our resources and our time. And so if we get nothing else across during this July, 4th of July holiday season, thank a vet, honor a vet, do whatever you can to make sure that they realize and understand how important they are to us. And again, once again, I challenge you, if you can in any way, get involved in the Meals on Wheels program. You can go over to the Shoalo Senior Center and you can have a meal there. They also serve a congregate meal. And just before we go, Christmas in July, The senior center over there is going to be having their 3rd annual craft fair and bake sale. That's on the 3rd of July. There are going to be plenty of vendors there. There's going to be hot dogs and pulled pork, and you can purchase your holiday gifts early. I assure you, it's a great event. The facility will be full of vendors. You can get some good craft ideas and gifts for the holiday that's coming. So, thank you once again, Gavin and girls, for letting us come in. And thank you for tuning in today to Compassion Speaks.